She did not knock. She did not call ahead. She just walked through the front door like it was still hers. Like nothing had changed. Like she had not gone off to Denver and come back with a ghost trailing her. I was sitting in the kitchen when it happened. Had not even touched the coffee I'd poured. It had gone cold, but I just kept staring into it like maybe if I waited long enough, it would spell out the truth. Amanda strolled in wearing that damn beige coat I always hated. She used to say it made her feel powerful like a CEO. To me, it always looked like a costume. Like she was playing a version of herself that only existed in hotel bars and airport lounges, someone sleek, sharp, untouchable. And now she was back looking exactly like that version. She set her purse on the kitchen island without looking at me. You did not answer my texts. No hello. No, I'm home. No warmth. Just that clipped tone like I was an intern she was getting ready to fire. I did not say anything. Just watched as she unbuttoned her coat slowly, deliberately. One button at a time. Like a show. You mad? She asked. I nodded once. She scoffed. Seriously. And there was that sneer I had not seen before this year but had come to recognize like a reflex. It used to be love in her eyes. Now it was barely disguised contempt. I stood up. How was Denver? She shrugged. Fine. Cold. Long. Did not look cold in the photos. That made her flinch. It was quick, just a twitch at the corner of her mouth, but I saw it. She looked at me for the first time then. Really looked. What photos? I did not answer. Just let the silence do the heavy lifting. I found them by accident. That's what still kills me. She left her laptop open on the couch one morning before her trip. I was not snooping. I was trying to close it so the dog would not step on it. Then the screen came to life. Preview thumbnails. One folder open. A string of pictures she'd forgotten to close. A hotel room mirror. Her in a black dress I'd never seen before. A wine glass. 2 wine glasses. A man's hand on her waist, and one of them cut off at the wrist like a horror movie still. His ring finger was bare. Hers was not. Amanda was still waiting for an answer, standing there like I was supposed to apologize for catching her. You think you know everything, huh? She said. I did not respond. Maybe I do know everything, I said quietly. She crossed her arms. So what do you want? A confession? You want me to cry and say sorry and beg? No, I said. I want you to pack your things and get out. She laughed. Laughed. Like I just told a joke. Oh please. You're not throwing me out of my own house. It stopped being your house the moment you gave another man what you swore was mine. The laugh disappeared. Her jaw clenched. Her nostrils flared just a little. I saw it, the mask breaking. You being dramatic. No, I said, my voice like a whisper coated in steel. You being disgusting. There was a long, dense silence. She looked at me like she did not recognize me. Maybe she did not. Maybe the version of me that loved her without question had finally died in that kitchen, sitting across from a woman who no longer cared about pretending. Tyler, I asked. She did not answer. I tried again. Was it him? Still nothing. It was not it? Her eyes narrowed. Then she tilted her head just slightly and said, would it matter if it was? And that was it. That was the moment I knew the person I married was gone. Not lost, gone. Replaced. Rewired. Whatever love there had been was buried under a smirk and a silence and a refusal to even grant me the decency of regret. I did not yell. I did not beg. I did not cry. I walked past her, grabbed the duffel I'd already packed with her essentials, clothes, chargers, the necklace I found in her suitcase, and set it by the front door. Get out. You see, not be serious, she hissed. I'm calm, I said. So do not confuse that with weakness. She stared at me for a long time, probably wondering if I'd crack. I did not. She grabbed the bag and walked out without another word. And the second the door closed, I sat on the floor and felt every part of myself collapse. Not because she cheated. Not even because she lied. But because I loved her. Deeply. And she walked away like that meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. There's more, of course. More I did not see coming. Because betrayal never shows all its teeth at once. And what happened next made the first part feel like an appetizer. It was 2 days later when the silence began to feel louder than her voice ever did. She had not messaged. No calls. No, I'm sorry. No, let us talk. Just nothing. Like someone had flipped a switch and deleted me from the reality she now occupied. At first, I thought it was a power move. Amanda had always known how to weaponize distance. Ignore a message for 12 hours, then reply with a casual, "Oh sorry," was busy like it did not burn holes through my stomach every second she left me hanging. But this time felt different. There was no posturing. No little jabs. Just gone. Then Tyler messaged me. Yeah, I did not even know the guy had my number. He texted from a number I did not recognize. It was short. Like he wanted to get it over with. "I think we should talk." That was it. I stared at it for a full 10 minutes. My first instinct was to throw the phone. My second was to block the number. The curiosity or rage or maybe the horrible cocktail of both made me type back. About what? 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then came back again. Not over text. "I'm in town. Meet me." He sent a location, a little diner 2 blocks from my house, which meant one thing. Amanda had given him the address. I agreed. Against every fiber of my instinct, I agreed. When I walked into the diner, I spotted him right away. Tyler was one of those guys who looks like he was created in a lab to sell luxury watches. Expensive sweater, perfect stubble, clean-cut arrogance. He waved me over like we were catching up on a golf game. I did not sit. "Say what you have to say." He looked up. Annoyed I was not playing his little script. "I'm not here to start anything," he said. "I just think it's better if we are all honest." "Is that what you two call it? Honesty?" He sighed like he was the victim of something. Like I was the one being unreasonable. "She told me you were separated," he said. I blinked. "We were not." He looked genuinely surprised. "She said you'd been sleeping in different rooms for months. That it was over and everything but paperwork. Were you in the room when she told you that?" I asked. "Because if you were, she was probably still lying." He leaned back in the booth, arms crossed, clearly unsure of whether he just walked into something deeper than he expected. "She's south at my place now," he said quietly. And that was the first time I felt the white heat. Not rage. Not pain. Just the burning clarity of finality. That was it. Amanda had not just cheated. She'd left. While I was still in our home, staring at her empty seat at the dinner table, she was moving toothbrushes into Tyler's bathroom. "Why tell me this?" I asked. He did not answer at first. Then he said something I'll never forget. "Because she asked not who I thought she was either." That got my attention. "She told me she ended it with you months ago. That you were obsessed. Controlling. You made me think I was rescuing her." I stared. "She showed me screenshots of fake messages from you. Said you were stalking her. That you threatened to hurt yourself if she left." My hands went cold. "She made you the villain before she even walked out," he finished. I finally sat down because suddenly this was not just about cheating. This was not just about lies. It was about character assassination. Amanda had not just betrayed me. She prepped for it. She laid groundwork. She had a version of me that she could escape from guilt-free. Painted me like some unhinged husband she had to sneak away from just to give her a fairer, clean narrative. And Tyler? He was just the idiot who bought it. I leaned forward. "Let me guess. Now she's south living at your place, but you already seeing cracks." He nodded. Slowly. "Yeah. She fights dirty. Everything's a test." I caught her looking through my phone while I was asleep. I smiled bitterly. "She's a fast learner. She did not talk long after that. There was not much else to say. Two men on opposite ends of the same knife. One who lost something real and one who realized what he gained was not what he thought. I walked out of that diner feeling nothing and everything. My hands were steady. My legs were numb. My heart was not even racing anymore. It was like grief had moved through me so violently that it left only ash. But I was not done. Because later that night Amanda came back. And she did not knock then either. The door creaked open just after midnight. No text. No call. No warning. Just the soft click of the lock turning and the sound of her boots across the hardwood floor. Slow, deliberate, like she wanted me to hear it. Like this was some twisted power move. I was on the couch. Lights off. Not asleep, could not sleep. Not since the diner. Amanda stepped into the living room like it still belonged to her, like she had every right to be there. She did not flinch when she saw me. Did not pause. She looked at me like I was just another piece of furniture that had not been moved yet. You re-up, she said, like this was normal? I never went to bed. She dropped her keys on the counter. We need to talk. No, I said, you need to talk. I've already heard enough. She exhaled hard like I was being unreasonable for not applauding her entrance. Tyler told me he met with you, she said, pulling off her coat and folding it over the arm of a chair like she was settling in. I stayed quiet. He had no right. That made me laugh, sharp, bitter and voluntary. He had no right. I said, Amanda, you moved in with him. You handed him your version of our marriage like a script. You made me the villain. She crossed her arms. I did what I had to do. No, I said, standing up slowly. You did what you wanted to do. And then you lied about it because you did not want to be held accountable. That finally got a reaction. She blinked once, then straightened her posture. That old defense mode I'd seen in so many petty arguments before about dinner plans, holiday visits, things that did not matter. Only now she was using it to protect something much uglier. What did you expect me to do? She snapped. You were emotionally dead. You barely looked at me for a year. I tried and you shut me out. No, I said, voice low, steady. You withdrew. You shut yourself out. And instead of working through it, you ran into someone else's arms and rewrote history so you would not have to feel guilty about it. Your mouth opened, but I kept going. You told him we were separated. That I was controlling. That I was unstable. You showed him fake messages, Amanda. You actually faked a version of me so you could play victim. I had to get out. She shouted. No, I said again. You wanted permission to cheat. And when you could not get that, you created a version of me that made it okay in your mind. She was shaking now, not with fear, but with that boiling frustration she always got when the mask slipped, and she knew I saw it. She started pacing, jaw clenched. He is not who I thought he was. She muttered. I do not care, I replied. She looked up. I do not care what Tyler is or is not. He is not my problem. You are. Amanda narrowed her eyes. So what now? You going to throw me out again? Change the locks. No, I said. I already filed. That stopped her cold. What? I filed for divorce this morning. Papers are coming. You'll be served this week. The silence that followed was surgical. It was precise. It cut through every remaining illusion in the room. Amanda did not cry. She did not scream. She did not fall apart like I once imagined she would if it ever came to this. She smirked. Guess I should have packed more of my stuff. I nodded. She took a step toward the hallway, then stopped. You know, she said without looking at me, you are not perfect either. And yet I said I stayed loyal. Funny how that works. She left again. Slower this time. No slamming doors. No dramatic send-off. Just the quiet echo of footsteps fading down the driveway. I locked the door behind her. This time not out of anger. Not even out of spite. This time it was closure. But what happened the next day? That tore everything wide open again. The morning after Amanda's second departure felt almost peaceful in a fake, surreal kind of way. The sun was out. The coffee brewed on schedule. The house was finally quiet. Too quiet. Like it was holding its breath. I stood in the kitchen, cup in hand, just watching the backyard through the window like I was waiting for something to crawl out of the past and sit down across from me. It was not peace. It was pause. The space between storms. I had just finished sorting through some of Amanda's leftover things, makeup still in the bathroom drawer, one earring on the nightstand. The shirt she always stole from my side of the closet when my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again. Same number. I answered. Is this Mr. Dalton? The voice asked. Female. Sharp professional. Yes. This is Cynthia Ward from Harmon and Green. I'm an attorney representing Amanda Dalton. I did not say anything. She continued undeterred. We've been instructed to request access to the property so that Ms. Dalton may retrieve the rest of her personal belongings. Also, she has expressed concern regarding certain items she believes have been disposed of or withheld. That last part set off every alarm in my head. Withheld. I repeated. Yes, Cynthia said. Specifically, a jewelry box, a hard drive, and 2 journals which Ms. Dalton claims were kept in your shared office. She believes these may have been removed. Now I was awake. I had not touched anything in that room since she left. But now I had questions. Why those 3 things? Why would Amanda care so much about a hard drive and 2 journals? I'll take a look, I said, hanging up before she could say anything else. I went straight to the office. It smelled like her perfume still. That sickly sweet scent she always overspread when she was nervous. Her desk drawer was unlocked. The journals were there, tucked beneath the folder labeled Denver Expense Reports. The hard drive, though? Gone. Not missing. Gone. I'd seen it before, black, small, thumb-sized. She used to back up her work files on it, she said. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized. I'd never actually seen her plug it in. Not once. The jewelry box was under the bed. Still full. But what was Amanda playing at? I called her. Straight to voicemail. I texted, your lawyer says you re missing things? Everything's here. Except that hard drive. You take it. She replied 10 minutes later. Guess I'll let them decide. Smiley face? That smiley face. That smug little toothless grin in 2 characters. That was the moment I knew this was not over for her. She did not want closure. She wanted control. She wanted to spin the wheel and see if she could still hurt me just to prove she could. And then, like a bullet from a forgotten chamber, something else hit me. The night she came back, when she dropped her coat on the chair, there had been a bulge in the pocket. Not her phone. Smaller. Rigid. I went to the chair. Felt inside. Empty. Of course. But the feeling that hit me next was not rage. It was not even confusion. It was fear. Not the kind that makes you tremble. The kind that tightens every muscle in your gut because your body knows something your mind has not figured out yet. What was on that hard drive? Why did she lie about the jewelry box and the journals, things I still had, while not mentioning the only thing that was actually gone? That's when I remembered something. 6 months ago, I walked into the office while she was working late. She slammed her laptop closed so fast I actually flinched. I made a joke about her watching guilty pleasure TV. She laughed too loudly and said, "You would not understand." Then I remembered something else. She never worked late. Not once. Not in 8 years. I sat down, pulled my laptop toward me and opened our shared cloud folder, the one she never used. But we had auto backup for photos linked to the home server. Just a long shot. And there they were. Thumbnails. Files uploaded the night she returned from Denver. A folder she thought I'd never find. I opened it. And what I saw. I swear my heart stopped. Not photos of her and Tyler. Not videos. Nothing explicit. But screenshots. Of me. Texts doctored with different timestamps. Messages that made it look like I was threatening her, manipulating her, gaslighting her. Messages that never existed. She had created an entire fake text history and was storing it as evidence. And one file, a document named, "In case he fights the settlement." I opened it. It was a list. Key assets. Bank account logins. My social media passwords. My mom's address. My work schedule. She was not documenting a breakup. She was preparing a takedown. And I had no idea how deep it really went. I closed the laptop, stood up too fast, nearly knocked over the chair. This was not just betrayal anymore. It was war. And Amanda was not just a cheater. She was a strategist. A liar. A full-blown saboteur. And I had just seen her playbook. I did not sleep that night. Not even close. I sat at the dining table with my laptop open, that single folder still glowing on the screen like it was daring me to open it again. My body felt frozen, but my mind would not stop spinning. Amanda had not just betrayed me in the way most people do when they cheat. This was not a moment of weakness. This was not a messy affair followed by tears and apologies. This was precision. She had planned everything like it was a campaign. Phase by phase. Layer by layer. Make me doubt myself. Make me look unstable to outsiders. Start the narrative before the truth could surface. I kept replaying moments from the past year with new eyes. The time she accidentally forwarded a screenshot of a conversation with her friend where she said he's been distant. I'm worried he might spiral. That friend, by the way, does not even exist. I tried calling the number once. It was a burner line. Or the time she convinced me to change all our banking passwords to something more secure and then conveniently forgot to tell me she wrote them down and stored them in her Dropbox. Under a folder labeled warranties. And now this hard drive. Gone. I mentioned in the lawyer's list of missing items, yet it's the only one that actually vanished. The only thing I did not physically still have in the house. I emailed the lawyer, kept it cold and professional. I said Amanda was welcome to retrieve her things as long as the retrieval was supervised and documented. I also mentioned that I would be forwarding her recent attempt to manufacture digital evidence for review by my attorney. No response. Not yet anyway. But it was coming. Later that day I went to my office. Got my home office, my real one downtown. I'd been working remote since the drama started, but something told me I needed to show up. Something told me I needed to check things. When I walked in, the receptionist looked up a little too quickly. Her smile was forced. Hey, Greg. Did not know you'd be in today. I gave a polite nod and headed back toward my office. My team lead, Marcus, popped out of his cubicle like a meerkat. Yo, Greg. You got a minute? My stomach twisted. He closed the door behind us, rubbed the back of his neck like he was trying to warm himself up for what he was about to say. HR got an anonymous tip about you last night. He said carefully something about inappropriate conduct at home, mostly off-duty stuff. But it mentioned company property being misused. I blinked like what threats made using your work phone, manipulative messages sent through your company email. They said you were trying to cover your tracks by deleting logs. I laughed. A short, joyless thing. You think I'm that stupid? He gave a helpless shrug. Look, man, I do not, but HR has to look into it. I sat down. Hard. Everything was falling into place now. She did not just want to leave me. She wanted to destroy me. She wanted me jobless, asset drained, painted into a corner so tight I'd have to beg for air. And that's when it hit me. She was not doing this alone. Tyler. He had access. They both worked for the same company. He could have helped craft some of this. He could have pulled metadata, planted files, even manipulated logs if he had someone in IT. But then why would he come to me? Why would he look so shaken? Unless Amanda was pulling him into the same trap she tried to set for me. That night I did something I never thought I'd do. I called him. No text. No pleasantries. Just straight to the point. Did she ask you for your work laptop? Silence. Then, yeah, she said hers was not syncing right. And you gave it to her? Another silence. Then a soft, Greg, what's going on? I told him. Everything. The screenshots. The fake messages. The folder labeled in case he fights the settlement. I told him about the lawyer calling with a laundry list of items she never even touched, about the anonymous tip to my HR department. About the way she was smiling when she left the second time, like the first grenade had just gone off, and she was counting the seconds until the second one exploded. Tyler did not speak for a while. Then he whispered something that made the blood drain from my face. She told me you used to hit her. I closed my eyes. Of course she did. She showed me bruises, he added. Photos. I laughed again, but it sounded like choking this time. She had those photos on my hard drive, I said. She must have edited them. She had software. She was always messing around with photo filters, said it helped her with pitch decks. Tyler was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I think I messed up. No. I think we both did. That was when I realized what Amanda really wanted. Not money. Not freedom. Not even revenge. She wanted control. She did not want a clean break. She wanted to own the story. Every version of it. What happened next? I still do not understand how it escalated so fast. How someone can go from loving you to trying to erase you. But the knock on the door that night? That changed everything. It was 10:42 p.m. when the knock came. Not the kind of knock you hear from a neighbor dropping by or a friend with bad timing. This one was firm. Rhythmic. Official. Measured like someone counting seconds between raps on the wood. I froze mid-step in the hallway, heart climbing into my throat. I already knew. I looked through the peephole. 2 uniformed officers. 1 male, 1 female. Badges out. Neutral expressions. I scanning the porch, then meeting mine as if they already knew I was there. I opened the door. Gregory Dalton? The woman asked. Yes. We'd like to ask you a few questions. May we come in? There was no hostility in her voice. Just the even tone of someone who has already written half the report in her head. I stepped aside, ushered them in, and sat across from them in the living room, that cursed beige chair of Amanda S. still sitting there like a monument to my own blindness. What's this about? I asked, though I knew. The male officer opened a small notepad. We received a report earlier this evening regarding potential domestic misconduct. Her name was specifically mentioned in connection with a series of emotional and psychological abuse allegations. The room went quiet. The coffee table between us may as well have been an ocean. What exactly did she say? I asked slowly. The woman officer responded. The complainant alleged a pattern of coercive behavior. She claimed you monitored her movements, isolated her financially, and that you threatened her when she attempted to leave the relationship. She also claims you threatened to publish private messages and photographs unless she agreed to withdraw from a joint financial account. The male added. My stomach turned. She is lying. I said calmly. I have proof evidence. She fabricated messages. She is manipulating the story. They exchanged a glance. Not surprised. Not skeptical either. Just professional. Mr. Dalton, the woman said, do you have any reason to believe your ex-partner might be attempting to manufacture a narrative against you for legal or financial leverage? I did not even hesitate. Absolutely. She has already done it. She has altered texts. She tried to get me fired. I have screenshots. A backup folder she did not know I accessed. You want to see it? They nodded. I stood, grabbed my laptop, and pulled up the cloud folder. I showed them the documents, the fake text screenshots, the time-stamped inconsistencies. I showed them the file labeled in case he fights the settlement, and the financial account notes she was not supposed to have. They did not say much while they looked. The male officer leaned in, brow creased. The woman, more composed, took notes. When I finished, there was another knock. I flinched. It was Tyler. I opened the door and found him standing there, pale, breathing shallow. He looked like someone who had just seen a ghost he used to trust. "I had to come," he said. "I found something." The officers looked toward him but did not speak. Tyler glanced at them, then at me. He held up a flash drive. "She left her account logged in on my laptop. Probably by mistake. I found a folder. A second one. She's been building case files. On you. On me. On her boss." "What?" I asked, stunned. "She's not just trying to take you down. She's trying to play everyone. Blackmail, leverage, legal threats. All prepped in advance. Photos, voice recordings, even scripts." He looked straight at the officers. "She recorded our conversations. Edited them. There's audio of me yelling that I never said. I know my own voice and it's chopped. She's stitching together phrases." The male officer stepped forward. "May we see that drive?" Tyler handed it over. That moment felt like air entering a vacuum. The whole room tilted. For the first time in days I was not the one drowning in suspicion. They asked us both to remain available for further questioning. Then they left. Just like that. No arrest. No papers served. Just the quiet sound of a door closing behind them, and the weight of everything Amanda had tried to build crumbling in slow motion. When they were gone, Tyler sank into the chair across from me, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. "I thought she just did not love you anymore," he said. "But this is something else." "No," I said. "She does not love anyone. She loves control." We sat in silence for a long while. Then Tyler asked the one question I had not dared ask myself yet. "What do you think she's planning next?" I looked around at the hollow shell of what used to be her home. The dead silence. The shadows clinging to corners. And I said the only thing I knew to be true. She's not done. Because people like Amanda do not stop when they lose. They escalate. And I was not ready. But I would be. 3 days passed. 3 days of silence. No new texts. No lawyers. No knocks on the door. Just static. Like Amanda had gone dark underground to reload. But I knew her. Silence was not surrender. It was the inhale before the scream. The coil before the strike. The calm that only meant she was writing a new script, and I was still cast in it. I spent those days assembling everything. I backed up every folder, every screenshot, every bit of metadata. I hired a forensic tech, someone I found through a mutual friend who owed me a favor. He came to the house with a small silver case and an even smaller voice, but he knew his work. Within an hour, he deconfirmed what I already suspected. Amanda had left traces. "Your wife," he said. He did not know she was not technically my wife anymore. "She's not a genius. She just knew you would not look." He pulled up a chain of files that had once existed on our shared home network but had been manually deleted and overwritten. Files that, thanks to the backups Amanda forgot about, still had fingerprints. "She spoofed IP addresses to make it look like some of the messages were sent from your devices. Used a proxy out of Kansas. But her phone pinged the house Wi-Fi at the same time those messages were supposedly being sent by you." He clicked a few more times. Sloppy. But strategic. Amanda had not just hoped I would not find this. She assumed I would not know how to. That I'd be too broken, too confused, too busy defending myself to dig deep. She underestimated me. Later that night, I got the first hit. Not from her, but from the HR rep at work. An internal memo had been flagged. A document Amanda had allegedly sent to my company's ethics board under a fake name. The memo accused me of maintaining a library of manipulated photos of women and said I was releasing revenge material online. They traced the metadata. It had been created on a device that had previously been registered, ironically enough, to Tyler. The laptop she borrowed. They connected the dots. Then they shelved the complaint. But it did not stop there. 2 hours later, my mom called. "Greg?" Her voice was shaking. "What is this message I just got?" Amanda had texted her. From a new number. Pretending to be me. The message read. I'm sorry for everything. I just wish you tried to understand what Amanda meant to me. I did not want it to end this way. My mother, bless her heart, had no idea what it meant. But she decalled immediately. That's when I realized she was planting the end. She was setting the stage for a final act. A crash and burn story. A collapse. Something dramatic. Something that would make people say, wow, he really lost it. I called Tyler. He picked up instantly. She just tried to message my boss. He said before I could even speak. But I'd been covering up harassment complaints. Claimed she had audio proof. You have that flash drive still? I asked. No. I turned it into the police after they called back this morning. They said they reopening a case. That they re-looking into her. Finally. But it did not feel like a win. Because I knew Amanda. I knew her tells. I knew that when a corner got tight, she did not retreat. She burned the room down. That night, I turned off all the lights in the house and waited. 2:17 a.m. My doorbell rang. I did not go to the door. I opened the side camera feed instead. She was standing there. In a hoodie. Hair tied up. No makeup. Barely a silhouette. No movement. Just her looking at the door like she was trying to decide what version of herself she wanted to bring inside. Then slowly she took something from her pocket and slid it into the mailbox. Then she walked away. I waited 10 minutes before I opened the door. Inside the mailbox was a manila envelope. No name. No writing. Just a thick fold of paper and a USB stick taped to the inside. I brought it in, sat down at the table and opened it. The papers were a draft complaint. A pre-written accusation addressed to the police. All the hits were there. Abuse. Harassment. Psychological torment. Evidence listed but not yet submitted. Request for restraining order. Mention of mental instability. Statement about being afraid for her life. Attached at the end? A checklist. To do before submitting final copy of audio files. Log additional texts from Greg. Prep social posts. Timed release. Reach out to Aaron. Get lawyer ref. At the bottom she'd written. In case I have to finish this. I stared at those words for a long time. She was not bluffing. This was not over a broken heart, or even revenge. Amanda had regained this entire thing. Turned our marriage into a series of contingency plans. She did not want justice. She did not want closure. She wanted a performance. A grand finale where she'd come out clean and shining while the rest of us drowned. I did not sleep. I sent everything to my lawyer. I made 5 copies of the USB. I gave one to the police. One to Tyler. One to a journalist friend who owed me a favor. And I kept 2. One hidden. One always on me. The final act was coming. Amanda was not done yet. But now, neither was I. There's a specific kind of stillness that comes right before something breaks. It's not peace. It's pressure. Like the room knows what's about to happen before you do. That's what the house felt like. It was the afternoon after I found Amanda's envelope. I barely moved from the kitchen. Every light in the place was off. The blind drawn. The air heavy. I had not eaten. Could not. My body had no interest in survival mode. It was already preparing for battle. That's when my lawyer called. He did not even start with hello. You've got a problem. My stomach turned. What now? He exhaled sharply. Amanda preemptively filed a motion with the court. She's seeking an emergency protective order. My hand went numb around the phone. She claims she's in immediate danger. Says you've harassed her, sent threatening messages. Claims she has recordings of you screaming at her. Said she fears you may harm her or yourself. She submitted that. I asked, voice flat. She did. This morning. In person. The court's reviewing it now. I closed my eyes. She's building the story she wants people to believe, I said. Even if it means destroying everything around her. My lawyer did not argue. I've already sent them our materials. The digital forensics. The audio inconsistencies. The documents you gave me. The motion buys her time, but it would not stand once we re in court. What's the timeline? She's pushed for immediate hearing 72-hour window. But it's a tactic. She's hoping the restraining order goes through temporarily and bleeds into her financial petition. A pause. Greg, he said quieter now. She's playing for everything. The house. The retirement. She's even claiming emotional damages. She's never even cried. I muttered. And then it hit me. That was the next move. She wanted to beat me to court. Frame me as unstable and lock down every asset before the truth could catch up. This was not a divorce. It was a heist. After I hung up, I sat motionless for a long time. The fridge hummed in the background. A dog barked down the street. Life was moving forward. And I was frozen at the intersection of betrayal and strategy. Then I got an email. No sender name. Just an address I did not recognize. Subject line. You should see what she sent him. Inside was a single file. An audio recording. Played it. Amanda's voice came on instantly. Sweet. Practiced. She was talking to another man. Someone I did not know. Her tone was soft, fragile, trembling just the right amount. I just do not feel safe anymore. She said, Greg's been unpredictable. I've tried to leave, but he always pulls me back in. I think he watches the cameras. I think he reads my messages. She took a shaky breath. I'm scared to sleep when he's in the house. That voice. That performative softness. She was acting. I could hear it. I knew her. I'd heard her real fear before. Once when we lost our dog during a storm and she cried in my arms for hours. This was rehearsed. Every tremble timed. Every pause placed. But here's the thing. The man in the call. He responded. I understand, Amanda. If you feel you're in danger, you should absolutely protect yourself. Do you want me to reach out to someone on your behalf? Her answer. If I disappear for a few days, I just want someone to know what he's capable of. Just in case she was setting up a disappearance narrative. A vanishing act. I saved the file, backed it up twice. I forwarded it to my lawyer. His reply came instantly. This changes everything. That night I did not stay home. I packed a duffel, grabbed both backup USBs and drove 2 hours north to my brother's cabin. No cell service. No cameras. No Amanda. Just quiet. I left a note taped to my front door. Addressed to the police. Just in case. I have not fled. I am not hiding. I am preserving my safety from someone actively attempting to frame me. My lawyer is aware of all ongoing proceedings. This home is under surveillance. The next morning, I woke up to a single text from Tyler. He had not messaged in days. You were right. She tried it with me next. I'm done covering. I'm ready to testify. It was the first crack in her foundation. Amanda had used every trick in the book to paint herself as the victim. To make me look like a monster. But monsters do not sleep with copies of evidence hidden in 4 states and a man willing to stand beside them and say, I was fooled too. The legal counterattack had begun. But Amanda, she still had one card left. And when she played it, she would not come quietly. 3 days before the emergency court hearing. Amanda vanished. No texts. No posts. No check-ins. Tyler had not heard from her. Her sister called me out of the blue asking if I knew where she was. I told her no. And I did not bother explaining why I would not care even if I did. The silence was not a mystery. It was her move. Her big one. She'd been setting the stage for weeks. The fake messages. The fear stories. That envelope in my mailbox marked. In case I have to finish this. This was her version of finishing. Vanishing was not about running. It was about control. She wanted people to start whispering. Where's Amanda? Did Greg do something? Did she finally break? The story would write itself. She was just giving it the head start. The police did a welfare check on me, not her. They showed up at my brother's cabin where I'd been staying off-grid. Calm but firm. They had to follow up on a concerned party's report. Said Amanda had left behind some worrying messages indicating distress. The implication was obvious. I let them in. I handed them the file. The USB with the audio. The forged texts. The metadata from the photos she claimed were evidence. Tyler's sworn statement. The alternate copies given to the court, her employer, and the 2 attorneys who'd begun investigating her. They were surprised. One of them actually sat back and said, "This is not what we were told." No kidding. The next 24 hours moved fast. Amanda's sudden disappearance triggered something she had not calculated. Actual concern. Real-world consequences. Her office got involved. The police opened a formal missing person inquiry. The department that had once fielded a complaint about me was now filing an alert on her. And then 2 days later, she reappeared. Not in a hospital. Not in some friend's spare bedroom. In a hotel suite under a different name. Caught on surveillance footage ordering wine and room service. Alone. Calm. Very not missing. They found her because she used her company credit card. She walked back into the picture like nothing had happened. And the moment she did, the entire illusion she'd spent months building began to splinter. Her lawyer quit first. Then her employer put her on leave pending a full investigation. And that emergency court hearing? It turned into something else entirely. My attorney and I walked in prepared for war. But the judge had already reviewed the evidence we submitted. Every forged message. Every fake audio. Handwritten strategy checklist she left in my mailbox. And then Tyler took the stand. I will never forget the look on Amanda's face when he walked in. Like she'd just seen a ghost, she thought she'd buried. Tyler was calm. Honest. Clear. He admitted everything. How they started seeing each other. How she fed him lies about our marriage. How she manipulated him with fake screenshots and weaponized empathy. How when he started asking questions, she turned it on him too. She tried to convince me Greg was dangerous, he said. But he might hurt her. That she was scared to sleep. But every time I looked closer, something did not add up. He turned to face her. You played me. Amanda did not speak the entire hearing. Did not flinch. Just stared forward, jaw tight, hands folded like this was a game of poker, and she was waiting for her last card. But her hand was empty. The judge did not just throw out her request for a protective order. He initiated a formal motion for fraud upon the court. That is rare. That means you lied so thoroughly and so intentionally that the entire legal process was compromised. Amanda did not leave with sympathy. She left with a warning. You are now being investigated for malicious litigation. I thought that would be it. That the storm had finally passed. That the house, the career, the friendships I'd barely managed to preserve would survive the wreckage she left behind. But Amanda does not lose clean. No. She came back for one last swing. And this time she did not just come for me. She came for someone else. It was my mother. That's who Amanda came for next. The moment the legal walls started closing in when her lawyer dropped her, when the judge made it clear she'd overplayed every hand, Amanda shifted her aim. If she could not take me down directly, she'd go after the people around me. The ones still standing. The ones I still loved. My mom called me in tears. She came to the house, Greg. She just showed up. Said she needed to talk. Said it was about you. My jaw clenched so tight I could not breathe. Amanda had not spoken a word to my mother in over a year. Not since the dinner where she picked a fight over nothing, stormed out, and told me afterward, your mom does not like me. She never has. But now in the final chapter of her spiral she stood on my mother's porch with crocodile tears and a mission. She told me she is scared of you, my mom said. She said she did not want to go to the police, but she thinks you unstable. She said you made threats. That you broke things. I had to sit down. She said you've changed. Changed? After everything, after being lied to, manipulated, painted as a monster, stripped of trust and dignity, I had changed. Amanda is trying to rewrite the ending, I said. She is hoping you'll take her side. Because if she see not break me legally, she wants to break me personally. I did not believe her, my mom said. Not for a second. But Greg, she looked off. Like she deconvinced herself it was true. That was the moment I realized. Amanda was not just playing a character anymore. She'd become it. Somewhere between the lies, the staging, the manufactured fear and tears, she'd blurred the line. She'd poured herself so completely into the fantasy of victimhood and vengeance that she could not tell where the act ended and she began. She was not just pretending I was dangerous. She needed to believe it. Because if I was not the villain, then what was she? I filed a restraining order the next morning. For me. For my mother. For my brother. Tyler filed his own the same day. The case against Amanda moved forward. The court opened a formal investigation into her actions. Fraud, defamation, harassment. She stopped showing up to hearings. Her phone was disconnected. Her address changed. Then one day she was just gone. Not missing. Not vanished. Just absent. Like she'd erased herself from the story she could not control anymore. No apology. No explanation. And honestly, I did not want one. It has been 7 months. The divorce is finalized. The court ruled in my favor on every front. No damages to pay. No property lost. My name cleared. My job still mine. My life slowly rebuilding. Amanda? Last I heard she moved 3 states away. Got a new job under a different last name. Her social media disappeared. She became a ghost. Good. Let her haunt someone else. I do not check for updates. I do not ask around. I do not care. Because the truth is, this was not just a story of being cheated on. It was a story of being erased. Amanda tried to destroy me not out of hate but out of strategy. Because to admit I had value, to admit she was the one who failed would have broken the illusion she built around herself. So she turned me into a villain. And I survived it. If you reading this because something feels off in your relationship, because someone is constantly shifting blame, rewriting the narrative, turning people against you while smiling through it all, listen to me. Just your gut. Not every villain snarls. Some smile sweetly and call it love while they sharpen the knife. But you do not have to bleed to prove it was real. Walk away. And when they ask you why you left, just say, because I finally remembered who I was before they started rewriting me.